It's a double-decker bus conversion.
Go big or go home.
That's right, that's right.
So can you share any of the costs at all?
Yeah. So
People out there that think children shouldn't be educated this way.
Sure. I never stepped foot in an RV before I bought this. When my 8-year-old son says he wants to learn about the stars, well, I say, okay, let's go to the Houston Space Center.
Unlimited field trips, right?
Exactly. We wanted all the kids to have their own private space. We do not insure double deckers.
How do you find insurance for this and who did it? Do you follow like a certain type of school curriculum at all for the homeschooling?
Yes. And so we had a fire when we were in the Grand Tetons. There's days that we regret it and days that we love it.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Cheri.
And we're EnjoyTheJourney.Life. We're at the Lippert Rally in Georgia and happen to be camping next to a really cool RV I'm going to show you in just a minute. This is Dane with DoubleDeckerFam. You have like the talk of the RV park RV here.
Thank you.
It's like, I think you have a crowd of people here most of the time asking, for a tour of your like way out there RV. I mean, like you've seen some of our tours and we have like shown some really incredible upgrades, and this one might beat all of them.
I don't know about that.
But it's certainly super unique. You have what kind of RV?
So it is a bus conversion. It's a double-decker bus conversion. A Van Hool TD 925 Astro Mega double-decker bus. Now, originally it was a mega bus built in Belgium for the US market. It was a mega bus that then became a hotel on wheels, and then we turned it into a home.
Wow, look at it. I can't hardly fit the whole thing on the screen. Yeah, it is really a sight to see. Plus, it has a sun deck.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, complete with hammocks. Yeah, room for what, 20?
Something like that. We got 6 kids, so.
Right, yeah, you're not alone. Dina and your 6 kids as well. So what was the motivation to get the bus and get on the road?
We were just really looking for a big change in our life. We knew we wanted something to drastically change the way, like our outlook on a lot of things. As a family, we had started chasing a lot more money and, climbing that corporate ladder type of thing, which is normal and can be good in some ways, but I feel like we had gotten to a point as a family where it was overtaking our lives, and we realized that as we were on a road trip, just in our van, we realized that it was time for a change, and we wanted to spend more time on road trips as a family. So we didn't know about the RV culture. We didn't know there was full-time nomadic families living in RVs or bus conversions. I never stepped foot in an RV before I bought this.
Wow.
And so we thought we were really unique just in doing this at all.
Okay.
And we quickly, as soon as we found the bus and started diving into it, we found you guys.
Okay.
We found other families on YouTube and Instagram, and we found those Facebook groups. And ultimately, the reason is spend more time with the family, spend less money on things and more money on experiences, time together, bonding. We only got one life, and we only have our kids for so long.
That's great.
It was our choice to have 6 kids, so we owe it to them to give them everything we can.
Well, that is awesome. Well, let's take a look inside.
Come on in, and pardon the mess a little bit. We do live here.
Sure. So, no kidding, and 6 kids.
That's right. So we've kind of cleaned it up. You might see one of my kids in here. But come on in. This is my office area, right? So obviously this is also where I drive, and you know, got a couple seats up here, but this is also what we turn into my home office. I do still have to work from the road, and we do a lot of the office work up here. Have the laptop up here and get some kind of a more quiet area to work while the kids play.
So is that a custom desk right there?
Yeah, I mean, it attaches to this post, and then when we're driving, we just take this off and set it to the side so I can drive. But that's my desk. It swivels around and gets out to me so that I can work effectively. I don't know that it's efficient, but it's effective.
Right. And what do you do for a living?
So I do freelance consulting for tech startups, and then I also work, we've got some websites that we run, and I own a writing company, a ghostwriting company. So when bloggers get tired of writing their own blog articles, they hire my team to do that.
Okay. Certainly stuff you can do from the road.
That's right, absolutely. So if we go back this way, it's very narrow. I'm sure people will point that out. It is pretty narrow. I'm 260 pounds or so, and you know, I fit through here, but it is narrow, and that's because we couldn't really do anything about these wheel wells. They have to be here. So what we did is, rather than have this just be empty space, we put our fridge and freezer up here. So one side's fridge, one side's freezer. You want to see how we eat? Right. I know some people are like, do you guys actually live in that? Is there actually stuff in that fridge and freezer? There is.
And it looks like commercial refrigerator and freezer.
They are commercial grade, and really that was just because I couldn't find any others that were only countertop height. We only had 3 feet of space to work with here, really. They ended up being commercial grade, which, I mean, our bus is wired for, so that's okay. But that's fridge and freezer.
I'll snake my way through here.
Yeah, like I said, it is a little bit narrow right there, but we open up a little more.
Oh, yeah, wow.
I mean, obviously, if fridge and freezer are there, the next obvious thing would be the kitchen. So this is our kitchen. On the one half, we have mostly just the prep area. We use our air fryer a lot, and that's really great. That actually doesn't even move around while we're driving. It just kind of stays put. So that's really nice there. And then just all this cabinet space, and these go all the way back. So these are very deep cabinet space, and drawers all go all the way back. And on the other side, we've got a 2-burner induction stove. I know people say, like, how do you feed 8 people on a 2-burner stove? Well, we use the air fryer, but also, you know, I come from a family of 10, and we never used more than 2 burners growing up, so not a big deal. But we did have to get a deep sink that you'd see like in a residential, rather than an RV sink that sometimes aren't so deep, just because we're feeding 8 people at a time. So got the full size sink there, stove, and that's our kitchen.
Is that a dishwasher?
That's our stove.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So that's
all right.
That's
like,
our stove. We've got 6 kids. That's our dishwasher.
Right. There you go. And did you do the conversion yourself?
We designed it, and then we hired a company out in Utah to do most of the build and construction. Now they did a really poor job, messed up quite a bit, and so we took it back from them and started working on it ourselves. So we got to the point where we said, you know, if I work on this until it's perfect, I'm never going to get on the road. So we decided we'll hit the road and fix things as we go. So some of the things you'll see in here are things that we've done. Some of them they did, but we're living with mistakes, and that's okay.
Sure. I mean, right. There's no perfect RV.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the thing. We always have our list of things that need to be repaired and
ongoing,
yeah,
right? I would have never made it on the road if this was 100% done. So
and then you have that constant earthquake of being on the road and stuff shaking
every time you move the rig, right? But we did end up putting, like, one of my monitors that I had up there. We put that back here so the kids could have TV, because we actually don't have a TV in the entire bus, and the reason for that is just we want to spend more family time, but we do like watching TV, so we put that there, so we're getting a little use out of it, right, buddy?
It's like a dream for RVers to have 2 stories, if you could actually make it work.
Yeah.
I know some stock RVs have tried to make that with some of their lofts.
There's some of the park models that are starting to get there, for sure.
Yeah, we've got a tour on one of those, but nothing like this. And I'm touching here, but it's not uncomfortable, you know. And I've got quite a bit of sole on my shoes here.
I'm
Super
5'9".
cool.
I'm 5'9", fully standing up, right?
Okay.
And I'm at the point now I don't notice this. I don't notice when my head's this close to the ceiling. The only time I notice that is when the Chiefs score or BYU scores on a football game and I try to jump.
Don't jump.
That's when I notice my ceilings aren't as high as normal.
Yeah, better be on the upper deck for that.
Yeah, outside. Kitchen, obvious next thing is dining. Family is most important thing to us, so the dining area was really important to us. This is all just pantry cabinetry.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So we've got our pantry.
Lots of storage.
It goes all the way down.
Cool. That's pretty deep as well? Or?
Yeah. So it goes all the way down to what you would see as the step here.
Okay.
And now that step there is actually because my air tanks for the bus are under there. So that's why there's a kind of a step. But that pantry goes all the way down there, and so there's kind of 2 levels in there. But the other unique thing here is the table. So the backs of these sofas actually roll forward, and they come together to create a table.
Wow, cool.
Really cool design in thought, in theory. We've been on the road now for 5 months, and we've maybe used them 3 times. The reason is just that the way that our bus is built. Now, we've seen them be effective in other buses and bus conversions, but because the way our bus is built with these walls here, the counters, when these are set up, it's nearly impossible to climb over and get around them. You have to really maneuver to get them sitting on the couch.
Sure.
And so that makes them fairly ineffective. So ultimately, we either just line up and face each other while we eat and just don't have a table, or we eat on the camp tables a lot.
If it's nice weather outside,
there's no reason to be in here.
Right.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we go by. So
yeah, can you swing one side out? Does that work, or just curious?
Yeah. So this comes out, and then we tighten that up, and it stands there.
Okay.
So that's about as effective as. I mean,
then you're like stepping over right
so
here.
when the other side is up, right now, I to get in here, I gotta climb over to come have a sit, right? And then there's no climbing on that side. Same with that one when it's open. There's no climbing on either side. The kids have to kind of go under, and it gets really, really out of hand quick. So not the most effective thing. And then you have this issue where like the cushion is only so wide. And so then we end up with like an awkward, there's the back it's just, in theory, it's great. The one thing I will say is like this, we actually plan on taking this half out next week.
Oh, okay.
So this will be out next week, and what we're going to do is keep this just as a flip-up kind of bar table, just so that we still will have the seating kind of here, but it's not going to be... it's not going to come forward like this anymore.
Sure.
Just because we're trying to get a little bit more space there. So let me see if I can work my way out of here. Normally the kid's sitting there, and I'll actually stand here at the end. If we ever use this, I stand at the end, and my wife stands at the other end so that we can eat with the kids.
So are you looking for other ideas on what to do in this area, or you pretty much know what you're doing?
I think we know what we're going to do. We're always open to ideas.
So what you guys that have done various conversions out there, let Dane know if you have any ideas for this area.
For dining table, anything like that. I mean, we do enjoy sitting inside to eat, but, this just hasn't been as effective as we had hoped. We've seen it work in other bus conversions, and it just didn't work for our space.
And I saw on the outside you have a mini split.
Yeah, so on the back there you see our mini split hanging off the back, and it's a dual head unit, so we've got one downstairs, one upstairs. We've actually very rarely used it because there's since the day we picked it up, there's a leak somewhere in the line.
Oh no.
So we've actually filled it with the refrigerant and run it, and we get maybe 12 hours at most use out of it, and then flips a breaker because it's all out of refrigerant. so it's not as effective as we want, right? It's also a heat pump though, and while it's not pushing the heat out, it's warm, so it is putting a little heat into the bus, and it's a little chilly today.
Right.
So we've got it turned on and just trying to keep a little bit of heat in the bus right now. So it works, and at night it really doesn't get too bad. At night it actually works fairly well, just maintaining a sleeping temperature, but definitely doesn't keep us warm. And like I said, it's October, so you see my son's face. He's got that face paint.
All ready for Halloween.
Tomorrow's Halloween, so
yeah.
Yeah. And then so back here we've got our downstairs bathroom.
Oh, cool.
And I say downstairs bathroom because that means we have an upstairs bathroom. This is usually the bathroom that the kids will use because that toilet sits so low, and that's because this door has to open that little.
It looks like a marine toilet.
It is.
Okay.
It is. So it's boat toilet macerating. The reason for that is because the black tank is up, and so it's got to pump up that way, and so we have the macerating toilet in there for that purpose. And so the boys and I will use this bathroom when we get ready, for church on Sundays. We'll do that here, and but other than that, this is the kids. The kids use it more than I do. I don't know that I've used it but 3 or 4 times. That
door is super cool, nice and thick.
Yeah, it's a solid wood. Like it's a pretty good door itself. Yeah.
You're probably not too worried about your weight then.
No, the gross vehicle weight rating, so the GVWR, is 62,500 pounds, and we are 47,000 pounds.
Okay.
So, and then we tow our van, which is just under 10,000. So we're underweight. We're good.
Good deal. And what kind of tanks do you have on here?
So we have our fuel tank is 166 gallon. Our water tanks, we have 75 gallon fresh water, a 70 gallon gray water, and I believe a 50 gallon black water tank.
Okay.
And those are in the storage, which actually kind of starts about here and moves back.
And are these the original stairs that came with the Megabus?
Yeah, so this is the back set of stairs. There was actually another set of stairs up front in the Megabus.
Oh, okay.
So right when you come in, those 2 chairs up front are sitting on the former front step. And then the rest of those are gone. Yep. But this is the original steps. It's just been there's been some modifications. It's actually become an issue. There's things in here that we have to access to fix certain stuff, but it's covered now. So
okay.
We're gonna be getting in there pretty soon to see what we can do to fix some stuff. Every one of these, I think, has a different access panel for different purposes, and we'll be getting into those pretty quick.
If you are enjoying this awesome RV tour, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below. That way you catch all of our insane and crazy RV tours that we release on our channel. And if you're watching on a big TV, you can always scan this code right over here with your smartphone. Yeah, this weird looking thing they call a QR code. Just scan that with your smartphone and that will get you subscribed to our channel.
Head upstairs. I'll show you
the second story.
One of the more interesting things we get comments on is this shower.
Wow.
Halfway up the stairs. We actually cut this into the storage area of the bus because, with each level being about 5'8", 5'9", I wanted to have a shower that hit me in the head, not in the shoulder. So this is a 7 foot. This is the only 7 foot area in the bus.
Okay.
But that way, the shower hits our head, not our shoulder. Mine, anyways.
Well, that's pretty cool. Cedar shower.
Cedar shower. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a cedar shower, and then the door is this Nautilus door. So it's thin and very compact, which is, for us was a big deal. It just gets out of the way pretty easily. So that is
very cool.
That's the shower. As we move upstairs, we've just put these in, so I hit my head on them a lot. But our water heater hasn't worked until last week. And so with the water heater finally working, we're not taking showers in the bus instead of at the camp showers. And so starting to use that more, we realized we need some sort of a curtain to block off the stairs when we're taking our shower. The kids are taking their shower. So temporarily we've got this up here. So I'm still getting used to it. I keep hitting my head on it. We're just trying to see what we like with curtain wise.
And you got all-in-one washer dryer combo here.
All-in-one LG washer dryer combo. You see it's spinning. It doesn't stop. With a family of 8, it's always going, which is why we always have to be hooked up to water. Really rare that we're not. But ultimately, yeah, LG all-in-one ventless, and then underneath it is our vacuum. So this vacuum unit, we can sweep things straight to it. It's also got a hose it's really long hose we can take around the bus.
So I take it not a lot of boondocking then, huh?
Not a ton. We can last about 4 days off grid, but typically if we're going to last 4 days off grid, it means that the 5th day we're going to plug in somewhere and do a ton of laundry at a laundromat.
Right.
Because there's no way we're going to be able to catch up with that. If that's not going for any day, especially 2 days or more, then we're not catching up. Up here we have this is more like our kids' playroom, their study room. You see all their book bags lined up. They do a lot of schoolwork up here. The backs of these chairs, these couches, they fold up just like the ones downstairs. So they use these as their desks when they're doing their schoolwork, lots of math books and things like that. So under this one is most of their school supplies and any of their academic stuff goes in this storage that's under that one. Under this bench, we have about 100 board games. I'm a huge board game nerd.
Cool.
So I left a cache of board games in Texas with my family. I left a cache of board games in Utah with my wife's family. And then we brought about a third of our games with us. So we change them out every now and then.
And I noticed it's a little more lower.
It's lower.
Like I've got to do a little bit of a bend.
Yeah, it's right at about an inch and a half lower than downstairs. Widen your stance. You widen your stance there, you'll be all right. All right. So when I'm up here teaching the kids about anything, this is about how it goes. Other unit here for the heat and AC that doesn't work. And then this is one of the more unique parts of the bus, and that is that this is our the master bedroom. And this headboard and footboard actually fold down.
Oh, wow.
So that, at night we create our bedroom. During the day, the kids could play in here and have more space. That was the original idea. Functionally living in this for 5 months, it doesn't work that way.
Okay.
Right? So, it works, but our dresser's on the other side of the footboard. And once that footboard's up, you can't get to the dresser. And all the pillows and blankets got to be stored in the dresser because this isn't tall enough for everything to sit on the bed. Some functionality here,
Sure.
as well as some shoddy build quality here, has led us so that this week, as we're going to start remodeling up here, and this bed will be pushed all the way forward and be up on a platform with storage underneath it. We'll have a closet on this side and a closet on that side to really make it a room and give the kids about 3-4 more feet of space up here.
Well, it is a very unique idea. Sometimes in reality, they don't turn out like you hope.
Yeah, and a lot of people, in our own videos, a lot of people have mentioned, hey, that is really neat. That's a really cool concept and, super genius or whatever. I appreciate those comments because I designed it. But in functionality and living in it now for 5 months, we just know this is not... And like I said to begin with, I never stepped foot in an RV before this. I never went to an RV show to check things out. I'd highly encourage anybody to do that. If you're going to take on building out your own rig, go to an RV show. Just get an idea, because I didn't, and I regret that. Learning and mistakes, right?
Right. Well, and there are specific, Facebook groups and schooly events.
Absolutely.
So that would be more similar to get ideas, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And when we started thinking about building a bus as what we wanted, we focused on those schooly groups. So we joined a bunch of schooly groups on Facebook, and we started looking for school buses for sale. That's what ultimately led us to this bus that was for sale as a bus, not as a motorhome. So yeah, definitely there's tons of schooly meetups and a lot of people that tend to do that. There's pros and cons of building a bus versus buying a ready-made RV or buying an RV and renovating it however you need. But we went this route, and there's days that we regret it and days that we love it.
So can you share any of the costs at all?
Yeah. So the bus itself, just the shell of what we bought, was $59,500, or $60,000, when all said and done. $60,000 bus. And then after that, we had then the build cost, which originally I think was in the mid-70s was what we were quoted to build it. Quickly that became 90, and then by the time that we picked it up, unfinished and not done right, we were at over $120,000 for the build.
Wow.
So all in. And then, you know, then you have things like that every RV has, you know, tires, right? We spent $10,000 on our tires just on this rig. And then, you know, when we've had electrical issue from the builder that didn't do it right. There was electrical issue. Well, that's another $12,000 bill to take care of the electrical issues. So lots of costs that go into it, but that's kind of roughly where we're at. I actually put out a video on my YouTube channel, I want to say a month and a half ago, about the costs that were involved in this. So if anybody wants to see like kind of a breakdown of those costs for us, they're on that video. Check it out, Double Decker Family on YouTube.
And we will put links to all your social media down below in the description, plus that video, and in the pinned comment as well.
Sweet.
Cool. How many miles on the bus?
So the bus itself has about 220,000 miles. The engine has about 20,000 miles. So
well, that's not too bad.
No, I mean, it's a Cummins engine. It's a Cummins ISM 10.8 liter, 450 horsepower. I mean, that thing should go a million miles if it's maintained properly. I mean, I really shouldn't have to worry too much about it. So that's one of the reasons we went with this bus, is that the engine itself had such low miles that I said, you know, that's one less thing for me to have to really worry about is engine failure, which would be catastrophic for us.
Yeah, that's barely even broke in at 20,000 miles.
Yeah, it's a baby engine, right? Like it is at the beginning of its life for sure. All right. Well, let me take you back here to the back. This is actually where the bunks are for the kids. We wanted all the kids to have their own private space. The way to do that was with these bunks. And so each kid, they've chosen their own bedding. Pretty soon they're going to be changing out the curtains to what they want, and we'll be adding wallpaper and whatnot, so that these areas are really personalized to them. We have we've got
very
a rule, cool for the kids that, you know, no one else is allowed in their room, because it is so small, and because we do feel like they deserve a little bit of privacy, right? I mean, you can't be too private on something that's only 450 square feet total, but you know, we feel like they deserve it. They deserve what little space they have to be their own space, and so they keep their belongings in their space, things they don't want anybody else to touch or mess with, and they have room for that in here. And they all get to kind of pick their own theme, what they want. So, you know, with our oldest kid being 10 and our youngest being 4, they're all kind of in the same age range. We think that we did pretty well getting these bunks. Now, these bunks were actually here when we bought the bus. So we didn't build these bunks in here. The bus itself, when we bought it, was a hotel on wheels. So it had upstairs here, it was all bunks, both sides, just bunks front to back, and then and downstairs was 4 bunks and 8 seats. And so we just decided to keep 6 of these bunks in here, because with the 6 kids, that's what would give them. So these 6 bunks back here are what were in the bus when we bought it. We didn't do anything. We added these shelves for the kiddos at the end. That's about all we've done up here.
Well, that is really cool that they each get their own space, because as we've seen with a lot of larger families in RVs, a lot of the kids don't have their own space.
Yeah, and it can be tough. And that was one of our like requirements for getting on the road full time, was that they had their own personal space that didn't have to be converted all the time to be something else. We were willing to have like our master bedroom be a convertible space, because as adults, I feel like we can manage our emotions and things like that. When I need private time, I can take a walk, right? I can go around. My 4-year-old, he's not going to be walking around by himself, right?
Right.
And so if he needs a break, he needs to get away. This is a private space. I didn't need that to be a dining room. That no knock on any other family that's what they do, because every family's different and has to have different things. But for us, that was one of our big points when we got into doing this, when we knew this is what we wanted to do. Each of the kids having their own personal private space was important to us.
And do you follow like a certain type of school curriculum at all for the homeschooling?
Yeah, so we've kind of created our own method, or I wouldn't call it a method, but we do what I call STREAM, and that is science, technology, reading, engineering, art, and math. And we focus on those 6 subject matters, and then we kind of mix all of them in with history lessons. So anytime we're learning about history, we'll throw in science and technology and just all of it, and which is great, because you know, when my 8-year-old son says he wants to learn about the stars, well, we can just I say, okay, let's go to the Houston Space Center, right? Let's go to the National Air and Space Museum. And he loves it, right? They kind of get to choose what they're learning every day, and we get to go where it is.
Right. Unlimited field trips, right?
Exactly. Almost every hashtag, every time I'm using hashtags on anything, I just say field trip, you know, because as a family, we're taking a field trip. And it's great to not just see them learning those things, but to be participating in that learning. I mean, all the things I forgot from when I was their age, and be able to kind of relearn and re-engage with now what their interests are. And so I'm learning at the same time. So it's pretty awesome.
That is so cool. I've talked with Cheri many times about how if we had realized this was an option when our kids were young, we would have totally both been interested in this. We have children from different marriages, but, I think it's super cool. I know there's a subset of people out there that think children shouldn't be educated this way.
Sure.
And I totally disagree, but do you have any thoughts on that at all, or?
Yeah, so I could pull out every study in the world that says that children that are homeschooled do better when it comes to college application, when it comes to graduation rates, when it comes to anything. We could pull that out, but it's pretty useless. The fact is, every kid has a different way they learn. Before we went on the road, before we decided to live this life, we consulted with people that we know, trust, and love that are public education teachers, right? My wife's father taught for 35 years in public schools. My dad is currently a chemistry teacher at a public school. My sister's a teacher. My brother-in-law is a teacher. We've got a lot of teachers in the public education system that we know, love, and trust. And this life to us, homeschooling, isn't, for us, it's no knock on public education. I know for some people, it's because they hate the public education system. We don't hate the public education system. We just feel like that for us, this was the time of life for us to take our kids, go on the road, learn together. I don't feel like there's any better way for them to learn. If you look back at your elementary education, you don't necessarily talk about the friends you had, and you don't always talk about your teachers, but you might remember the field trips you went on, right? Those are the type of things you remember, because they were great experiences. And this is, a 2-year road trip for us. It may end up being longer. It may end up being shorter if my kids really they don't want to do it anymore. We kind of reevaluate that every few months with them. But our education here in the bus is, I would not say any worse than they were getting in in the public school system. And certainly to some degrees, I would say it is far better. They're getting memorable experiences and education that they're going to actually internalize and remember that will help them out in life.
That's super cool. And speaking of stargazing, you can do it right from the bus.
That's right. So I'll take you up here on top of the bus. Just note there are 4 more bunks back here, as well as closets back there behind the bunks. And then there's also our second bathroom right here. And so this is the main one that gets used. It's just as small as the one downstairs, but the toilet doesn't sit as low. So we'll go up here, and I'll show you the rooftop.
All right. Like I was saying earlier to Dane, that this is Cheri's favorite part, right here. I mean, look at the size of this deck. It's like party on the roof here, huh?
Yeah, we tell the kids they can't party up here. The roof is not reinforced, but it is a good spot for them to hang out. So they do come out here and spend time up here. They do sometimes dance a little bit, but we got the hammocks up here, so they can chill and get away from other things. My daughter likes to come up here and read. She's a big reader, so this is a great spot for any of that. Or you just want your hot chocolate in the morning. Right here.
So Dane, what kind of miles per gallon do you get?
Yeah, so with the engine that we have, it's a semi-truck engine, and like I said, the Cummins ISM 10.8 liter, 450 horsepower. It gets 7 miles to the gallon on average. So when I'm in the Rocky Mountains, it's getting a little bit less, but out here in the east, we're getting a little over 7 miles a gallon.
Well, that's not bad. I mean, gosh, we get 9 to 11
sure.
In our Ford F450. So
yeah, so it's not far off from that. So it's one of the things a lot of people definitely ask about fuel economy. Not as bad as you might think with a vehicle this size.
Any fuel program you use at all to save money on the road?
Absolutely, yeah. We use the TSD logistics card for our diesel. That's kind of our primary card for diesel. That just, with that program altogether, gives us big discounts on fuel. So we use that a lot. We got that day one. You know, they do a little, they pull your credit and things like that. You gotta provide social security numbers, but fantastic program. We've really enjoyed that and saved a lot of money by using that. And then we also use Gas Buddy, the membership, the actual paid membership of Gas Buddy, which we find saves us quite a bit of money as well in our van when we're filling up with unleaded.
Yeah, the TSD program is great. I mean, we find savings sometimes like $1 or more.
$1 or more, yeah, per gallon. Yeah,
it's insane. Actually, I think it was here in Georgia that we found it, like regular prices up near $5 at the time per gallon, found it for $3.90.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, I'm stopping there. I'll take a little detour.
A slight detour to get there, yeah.
You know, and how big is your tank again?
166 gallons.
Yikes. What's that tab come out to?
I mean, obviously it's going to depend on where we're at, but it's in the last 5 months, it's ranged quite differently. So we're running anywhere from $500 to fill up to, I think the biggest one we got was roughly $1,000. I think it was $966 was our biggest burn to the pocket. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That one hurt.
Can you imagine that? I think us getting close to around 300, I think.
Yeah.
You know, we have a 48-gallon tank, so.
I'm 300 no matter what. I can count on, if I gotta put fuel in this thing, I'm over 300 every time.
Wow. But
what I do is I try to fill it up when I've just used a quarter tank.
Okay.
So at 3/4 tank, I'm filling up. That way it doesn't hurt as bad. It doesn't appear to hurt as bad.
Right, but then you can go like forever.
If I needed to, yeah. I mean, I could drive about 1,000 miles.
Okay.
You know, without filling up. So you're paying the same as I am for diesel, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of getting where you're going. And for us in the RV life, it's part of life, right?
Right.
So
that's the major expense. Depending on how much you move.
That's right.
You want to spend less on fuel, don't move as much.
Exactly. Yeah. We've learned that.
Gosh, it's gorgeous up here.
Pretty nice with the fall foliage for sure.
Now I see you've got some solar up here as well.
Yeah. So we've got 4 solar panels, 2 up front and 2 in the back. They're 355 watts each. We can last about 4 days boondocking, and that's because of those solar panels.
And what do you do for batteries?
So we have 8 lithium-ion batteries. So we've got 8 of the Lion Energy Safari 1300 UT batteries. The 8 of those work pretty well, and then all the other components are Victron, and that keeps us going. I check my battery stuff on my phone with the Victron, so makes it pretty easy and pretty reliable.
Actually, we have the Lion Energy UT 1300s as well.
Oh, you do?
Right now.
Okay.
We've got 6 of them.
All right, yeah. So we're running on 8 of them. We love Lion Energy. The company is fantastic. They've been really great to us, and our bus was built in Utah, and like I said, my wife grew up in Utah.
Right, and yeah,
they
Lion
are
Energy
based
corporate headquarters there.
Right there in Utah. They're actually just a couple miles from where my in-laws live, and we actually found out in the last 2 weeks or so that we were at the Hershey RV show, and we met a Lion Energy rep, and they know my in-laws, and so there was some fun stuff there. So being that they're from American Fork, Utah, the Lion Energy brand, we went with that. We love them. We think they're really great batteries, and I'm surprised more RVers don't have them.
And I see you have Starlink.
Yeah, so we have the RV version of Starlink, which, you know, I know that there's a lot of talk about the RV version versus the residential with mobility, those kind of things. We have the RV version. It works fairly well for us in most locations, but we do have other internet services as well. to back that up and have some of that redundancy. As you know, working on the road, you got to have some sort of redundancy. So we also use Nomad internet, and that's really something that helps out quite a bit, is our Nomad internet.
And is it working right now with all the trees around?
So yeah, I mean, right now it's working pretty well. The trees aren't getting too much in the way. I think last I checked, it's getting interference about every 53 minutes. So it's really quite open. So right now it's working. When the trees are closer, we get any like major. If you look at the front of our bus, there's not a chance we'd get Starlink through those trees at the front right now. So that's why it's positioned back here on top of a solar panel when it's normally not sitting on the solar panel.
Right, and over here in our site, I didn't even bother to put out our Starlink at all. Just like, yeah, we're just gonna stick with cellular here.
Yeah, and that's, you know, there's pros and cons with any service you go with, right? The one thing we found with Nomad is that it's pretty reliable for us. And so that's why we went with the Nomad for the redundancy, and we use the Starlink everywhere we go. We're actually looking at getting a third one just in case, and also because Nomad and Starlink don't work as well as when we're driving. And obviously you go out west and there's plenty of dead spots, and so when we're driving in the rig, we still want to have internet because, you know, my wife and kids are still sitting in the rig, and I'm driving, not using the internet, but they are. So we're looking at getting, you know, internet on the go. And
any other technology you take advantage of to make this work?
the biggest technology question that we usually end up answering is our routing system and how we route the bus. We do not use like Google Maps, because the height of the bus, the length of the bus, and the weight of the bus, which is something most people overlook. With the height, the weight, and the length, we use a Garmin Diesel Over the Road, or OTR, which is a trucker GPS. And so it allows us to put in our height, weight, length. We avoid any bridges that are 14-foot overpass is as low as we'll go, type of thing.
Okay.
Just to be safe. I mean, we're 13.5.5, which is really no taller. Probably no taller than you are.
We're 13.5.
Okay, so you're 13.5, we're 13.5.5. It's not much different, but with the weight of it, that's really where we have to be careful. We've been to plenty of places that say, you know, nothing over 9 tons. Well, we're 47,000 pounds. We got to reroute that, right? So
right, for sure.
That GPS keeps us on track.
And again, another thing that Cheri loves is her hammock, and you've got 2 of them up here.
Yeah, this is actually the first time we've used 2 hammocks up on the roof. We had just had the one for a while, but we put a second one up here this time because a couple of my kids were fighting over the one and said they wanted to use it, so I said, okay, we'll put up 2 of them. Kids love being up here, and you know, my daughter reads, so she likes to hang out in the hammock and read, and the other kids like to just swing up here, and it's a good chance for them to kind of just get away outside the bus. And I actually like it when my little kids come up here because I don't have to worry about them running through the RV parks. Our hammocks is a good area for that.
Of course, your rails all fold in.
Correct.
You know, during travel.
That's right. So anytime we're going anywhere, these rails come down. They all just fold into the center. The front and back, you see, is just the 2 bars. Those go down underneath the rack itself, the rails. You can kind of see where those sit in here, and then they screw in so that they're secured. They're not going to fall off, and that's how we roll down the road.
Well, you gotta love the big windows. I mean,
yeah, it's kind of like a fishbowl.
Right. And you got the second door.
Yep, our back door here. Got the kiddos playing. Cool. This is our garage. We're getting ready to pack up and head out tomorrow. So
okay,
starting to get things all kind of put up towards the bus so that we can get installed here. Don't blame us for not liking our brand new. This is a brand new Ninja wood fire grill, but it started raining the other day. We just had to get it in real fast, and so it ended up right there. So it'll move here pretty quick. I don't want anybody to hate on me for that. This is our garage area. It's it goes way back, but also holds our tanks. We'll go to the other side and get a look at
that is a lot of space.
Tons of space in there.
Wow.
You know, it's walk-in. It's got steps, you know. So
And that's your fresh tank right there?
This is our gray.
Okay.
That up there is our black. And then on the other side, we'll see our freshwater tank over there.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, it did really get moved up in height, didn't it?
Yeah. The engine, I don't know if anybody cares to see the engine, but that is our Cummins ISM.
Look at that beast.
That's what keeps us moving down the road. So pretty solid.
Yeah.
Pretty solid engine.
Well, hopefully you won't have to invest anything in that anytime soon.
I sure hope so.
And storage, more storage.
No, this is our batteries.
Oh, okay.
So we've got all our electrical stuff in here. This is where the batteries come down to. So solar all coming here through our Victron system into those Lion Energy batteries.
Okay, and who did your solar install?
So we actually had a fire with this. Like I said, the original builder definitely had some issues. Didn't exactly know what they were doing. And so we had a fire when we were in the Grand Tetons, and this all had to kind of be redone. So
wow.
Crowned in Style, that's another bus conversion. If you ever look at Crowned in Style on Instagram, YouTube, his company is called Crowned in Style Solar, CIS Solar. He came out and he met us right after we left the Grand Tetons. He met us in Utah and took care of this for us. It's not completed. We still have some work to do on it. It's not perfect, but he cleaned all this up and he made it so we're safe. And that was the biggest thing for us.
Yeah, that's pretty scary to have a fire. I mean, you know, did it destroy a lot of the gear at all, or?
Yeah, so I mean, it melted 3 batteries and kind of just did a bunch of damage back here to the components that were here. And so had to replace a lot of that. A lot of the wiring was fried and burned up, literally charred. It was just a matter of having to redo a lot of this back here, and then up on the roof, the solar, some of those wires had charred. The builder used all the wrong gauge wiring.
Okay.
And so you know, we had been in the bus for about 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks at that point, and I was actually standing nearby, getting some other stuff taken care of on this side of the bus when the smoke just started pouring out. And so we had that little unfortunate event, but we were all safe. You know, that's where the blessing is. You know, we can look at that. We could see it, negative and positive there. We were all safe. The family's safe, and now we're even safer that we've had this put back together properly.
And was that insured then?
So some of that was insured, some of it fell under warranty with like the batteries. You know, that's one of the things with Lion Energy. You know, their customer service is incredible. I think they probably could have just looked at us and said, you know, install problem, you know, and told us to walk off a cliff. You know, but they didn't. They took care of us.
That's cool.
We met down in Utah to get it repaired. That's where we met up with CIS Solar. He's from California. But he met us in American Fork, Utah, which is where Lion is. He actually went and toured the Lion facility while we were there, and you know, they took care of us. They made sure Lion Energy came and tested every one of these batteries. We got hooked up with the other 3 that had melted and had bad components. They replaced those, and we got all this in here. These actually are sticky notes that Lion Energy still left on them to make sure that you know, telling us where we were at with all of them still. So that was actually a really positive thing that came from that, is we just solidified that relationship with Lion because they were so good to us. In here, this is still where some of the wiring issues we still got to take care of a little bit, but it's at least to a point where it's safe to travel. So 20-gallon hot water heater, or I should say 20-gallon water heater. I've been corrected on that plenty of times. So.
Oh my gosh, that happens on our channel all the time. I'm saying hot water heater. It's water heater.
It's a water heater.
If it's hot, you don't need the heater.
That's right. That's right. So 20-gallon residential water heater.
Okay.
And then
wow.
We've got our pump and everything there, water pump. That's what we got going on in there.
Cool. And so, speaking of insurance, how do you insurance, and how do you find insurance for this, and who did it? Who wrote it?
So there's some trouble finding insurance on something like this. It doesn't come easy. We shopped around quite a bit. Ultimately, we found that Allstate had a policy for us. And so we are with Allstate for the bus. The only issue, the only hesitation I have sharing that is that I know the policy that we got in on that is no longer available or offered. All right, so we're now grandfathered in on our policy, but I don't want to give people the wrong idea that you could buy one of these and get it insured with Allstate, because you can't anymore.
Interesting.
That's the little caveat there, is that if we were to buy one of these today and try to go insure it, nobody that we know of would insure it. Now there are a couple other these on the road, at least 2 others that I know of, that are double-decker, this exact same make and model, that have been converted to RVs. Obviously that's a really tight, small community, so I know the others, but I don't know who they've got insurance with. You'd have to check them out, find them. I don't know that either of them do social media, so.
Okay. So don't just call up Progressive and say, hey, I've got an RV to insure.
Right.
What kind is it? Like, we don't have that in our list.
Yeah. And actually, I think Progressive specifically says on their website, we do not insure double deckers. So, you know, there's definitely, it's a runaround. If you go buy one of these and convert it yourself, there's a lot to do. A lot of back-end work you got to get done before you can really hit the road.
No kidding. Again, if you are enjoying this amazing double-decker bus RV tour, smash that subscribe button. That way you catch all of our crazy and amazing RV tours that we release on this channel. And this code right over here, this weird looking code called a QR code, if you scan that with your smartphone, that will also give you the option to be subscribed as well. Those are massive tires.
On the Michelin 365/70 R22.5 drives, there's 4 of. Those are on the Yokohamas. Those are not as wide as the Michelins. And then the tag axle is, again, these same Michelins. Right when we got on the road, I think the week before we got on the road, we replaced all 8 of these tires for a cost of about $10,000.
Wow.
So they're pretty massive, yeah. And those should last us anywhere from 500 to 700,000 miles. If we were to burn out the miles on them, they will age out, I think, long before they'll hit that mileage mark.
Are they still at that, like, 5 years replace?
Yeah, 5 year replace them, and especially like these Michelins begin cracking, sidewall cracking, typically a little bit sooner than I think 5 to 7 years is pretty standard, and these start to go a little sooner than that. But Michelin is the only one that makes this tire size, and so they get to charge you whatever they want.
Okay. I saw this on the side of your bus, and it looks like you've got quite the map and statistics going on here.
Some calculations going on. Yeah, so this is actually for a YouTube video we're working on for our channel, really kind of asking everybody and asking our channel, like, how do you mark off that you've been to a state? In the RV community, we found everybody has like a state sticker map. And so we wanted to find out how people determine when you've earned that state sticker, right? We kind of mapped out our journey by saying we're going on a 2-year road trip to the lower 48 states, and decided, hey, if there's 48 states and I can divide that up based on the percentage of, you know, the land mass compared to the entire nation, how many days that would mean that we would need to spend there to spend an equivalent amount of time in every state. In the pink here, I wrote down how many days we actually plan on staying somewhere. So plenty of places that, you know, Connecticut, you know, says that we should only spend 1.2 days there. We're gonna plan on spending 7 days there. But then again, we've got other places like, you know, I don't know, Kansas says we should spend 20 days there. And sorry, Kansas, I probably not going to spend more than a week in Kansas. Just different things there that we took the 730 days of the 2-year trip and divided it up. We've also since learned that we throw this whole thing out the window. RV life can't be planned this well.
Right.
Something we knew nothing about.
I think you'll find in reality it will look a lot different than that.
It will. So we'll have to do this at the end of the 2 years. We'll have to put on here how many days we actually spent in each state. But
how much did our plans change?
Exactly, because we're 5 months in. 2 days from now we'll be 5 months in.
Okay.
And very different from what this is already. So I think we've got, what, New Jersey here says 4 days. we've already spent 14 days in New Jersey, so
Okay.
we're looking different for sure.
You can do the little guy right there for less money,
Yeah.
or you could do double-decker bus for a lot more money.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a lot more money. You know, when we start to count these trucks that are so expensive now, you know, truck and you know a big Momentum, you're probably getting close to what we've spent.
Well, we bought at the right time.
Yeah, well, that might be true too.
It probably never overheats with that big fan on the radiator, huh?
I've never had an issue. We try to make sure we keep it, you know, keep it good and maintained. So
sure. Wow, very cool. How is it towing this thing?
I don't really even notice it.
I was gonna say you probably don't feel it at all.
No, we actually, if you see on the side there, where we've got some trim missing, this tire blew out in Wyoming.
Oh
Completely blew out and just, I mean, it bent up this, it totally ripped things off.
And you didn't know it happened?
200 miles, we had no idea.
Oh my gosh, somebody probably flagged you down?
No, I stopped to use the restroom at a truck stop.
Oh man.
Here we are, on the edge of mystery. We long for a life of new discovery. Focus our eyes on the journey, stepping into the unknown, waving goodbye to our worry, and we're ready to go. We're up. We're not ever slowing down. We're up. We're chasing down the dreams we found, over the rivers and mountains, deep in the heart of the sea. We know adventure is calling, so we run wild and free.
Well, Dane, wow. Thank you so much for showing me and everybody out there your incredible bus conversion.
Thank you.
Even with the challenges you've had, and you know, you would maybe do things different.
For sure.
But you made it happen. You know, it's not perfect, but you got on the road.
We got on the road, and that was really the big key.
Right.
You know, and we don't do anything halfway, right? We we dive in, we go all the way.
Go big or go home.
That's right. That's right. We're based in Texas. You know, everything's bigger there.
Right. DoubleDeckerFam across social media.
Yep.
We will link to all of your social media again down in the pinned
Perfect.
comment and the description. Go follow these guys and their adventures. Super cool. And if you would like to catch some of our other tours, we will link that like right up over here. We have some other unique families that we have interviewed over the years, other unique RVs, so check them out. The list is starting to get pretty long.
Is that where the list goes over there?
Over there.
I'm still getting new to YouTube, so
right
I don't
there.
know. I never know which way to point.
You can put it on either side, but
Okay.
I'm creating space and saying right there.
All right. Perfect.
All right.